Good night, everyone. Tonight, God is good and God is good all the time. My name is Summer Jazz Fitzgerald. I'm going to give you some show news and a word on tonight. And I do have some update. Um, First, we're going to talk about this little boy, 4 years old. He shot himself in the bedroom. You know, the gun was under the pillow and it was loaded. And it was reported stolen. So this happened 6 days ago. According to the arrest warranted, the child who was killed, the 4-year-old Keith Jones Jr., was at the home in a 7,000 block on Martin Drive, with his father, Keith Jones Sr. So the boy who fatally was shot himself in the head Thursday night, was left alone in a bedroom with a loaded gun and the safety was out. Safety always supposed to be on. So the police also say that the gun was reported as stolen, in the St. Bernard Parish. So the mother said, I just got a phone call, from his dad saying that he had been shot. A gun was in the house and he found it. So the victim then found the weapon under the pillow, and accidentally shot himself in the eye. So the police arrived on the scene shortly after 10:30, and a child was rushed to the hospital and pronounced dead shortly after 11 p.m. So he had a loaded gun, and the safety was off, was well below the standards of the care expected to be maintained by the reasonable careful person. So whoever the person was that had the gun, they said it was below the standards because the gun was supposed to be, unloaded. Then the safety was supposed to be on. So the father, John Sr., he was booked with the regular homicide and possession of stolen things because the gun was stolen. The gun was stolen. So I want to give my condolences, to the mother and the family who lost his 4-year-old boy. Keith Jones Jr. And I give him my deepest sympathy. And I can't imagine how you feel. Now, this was a terrible tragedy, to happen. And I'm sorry that this had happened, but responsibility, have to take place. Charges of a child shooting himself, delay failing to secure the gun in the home. So charges of endanger a child, by reckless storage of firearm. The gun was stolen. And when we have accident like this, endangering a child, the parent will take responsibility of their child accident, and it will be investigated. They're still gonna investigate this. So they're still gonna investigate this. All guns have to be secure, stored away, a high place from a child. So I had talked about this multiple times. Gun stores law. That's what we're gonna have to have. We're gonna have to force this law because we got to force this law. So no other child, won't accidentally find a gun and shoot itself. Enforcing this safety stores law, away from kids. You have to put it away from kids. Now you're gonna buy a box. They have a box for the place the gun in. It comes with a lock. It comes with, you gotta buy your own lock, but it comes where you can put a lock on it. You have to make sure the gun is unlocked. you know, and it's, and before you place the gun in the box, because the child can still find it and shake it, and a gun will go off. So you have to make sure it's not loaded, and make sure it's locked. Make sure it's locked because they say it was unlocked. So the gun storage law designed to protect children at home with guns in the house. Safety storage law. Require gun to be stored, should be locked and unloaded. So I request that storage law, take place, to save another child. So when a child get killed in the house, and it's reckless, with a loaded gun, the parents will start taking responsibility for this action. So I'm sorry. I'm very sorry that this little boy, you know, uh, lost his life. So we have to really be careful, with having guns in the house. You have to really be safe and locked and put away high where a child won't find. So this is the update I have. Increase on property taxes in New Orleans. New Orleans council member demand property assessment review, review the taxes. So yes, we need a new estimate, on the value of our home and other home that's on our block. This increased assessment will put a strain on families. So we already dealing with inflation and economics. We need to be investigated. It needs to be investigated, all these houses, and also our house, because our house, we started out like $100. A lot of our houses, been, and not at the same value. So we feel like y'all is estimating the value that we had before. So a lot of us start out with 100 value on our house, but it's not the same all our houses. So we need to be investigated. It need a new estimate on our home and the homes they have on the blocks they're building this new home. So we need investigated. We need new estimate, for our the value of the house. So I request for a new estimate on the value of the home and the other homes that's on the block. Property tax assessment. So a lot of homeowners is fighting back there. Because I know I've been dealing with for the past 2 years. They've been going up on the property taxes. So I also have some tools of perseverance in the mix of a suffering. So I know most of us in the stone. Most of the stone, and we all not perfect. I'm not perfect myself. You make mistakes, but guess what? You learn from the mistake, and you have tools, to pass it on to someone else. So in the mix of a stone, it will take patience, faith, and hope. You will endure hardship and experience losses, in your stone. God will test your faith in that stone. Your faith produce perseverance. In your stone, it takes a whole lot of patience. A whole lot of patience. And a strong faith, to take all this hardship. So blessed is the one who perseveres under the trial. Because having stood the test, you're going to have tests after tests. That person will receive the crown of life, that the Lord had promised to those who love him. So in our pain and suffering, we have to be confident. You have to be confident. Because, see, you're going to be dealing with Satan. You're going to be dealing with Satan. So you got to be confident, And a lot of times you're gonna have emotional, but we just can't stay in our emotion. So you gotta be confident of this. That he who begin a good work, you know, in you will carry on to completion, until the day of Christ Jesus. So when we start, we have to keep finishing. So your pain and suffering may come from spiritual warfare. It may come from losses. It may come from many things because everyone deal with a stone different. You know. So and then it's an ongoing attacks of spiritual warfare. You constantly on the. That's why I say this stone you're gonna have to have patience. You have to have patience. So but in the mix of it, you know, we still, have to run this race. I just talked to you about old Jonah. Jonah wants to run from it. I know a lot of us wants to run from it. But if it's anything that comes from God, we cannot run from it. Look what Jonah did. And what happened to him? He got caught in a fish from trying to run. Whatever God has started in us, we have to finish it with patience, a strong faith, be confident. You got to have hope because in this long trial, you have to have hope. You have to have hope. So this package also, I'm talking about myself also, you know, um, we all have to focus, on myself. Well, myself, I was focusing so much on my pain and my suffering, to like took me away of who I really supposed to be focused on, who gonna lead me to my purpose. So that's what I'm saying. A lot of mistakes I made, we gonna correct it so I can pass this tools on to someone else. So we cannot focus on our pain and suffering. Because I got lost. I got lost in the stuff. From trying to fight and survive my storm. When we supposed to turn it over to God. Turn it over to God. You wear yourself out. From constant the ongoing, storm that feel like it don't want to end. So we not gonna focus on our pain and suffering. In the pain and suffering, now one thing I did, I kept on working, putting my stuff out. I never stopped putting my news out, never stopped putting my word out. I kept on working, pain and all. I'm tired and all. I was still working, you know, but it's more than just that. We have a purpose, to drive from, to drive to. And I was focusing so much on the pain and suffering. So when you focus so much on your pain and suffering, you can't hear God voice. You cannot hear God voice. So that's what I'm telling you. Don't focus on your pain and suffering. We supposed to focus on God. We supposed to focus on God. We supposed to meditate. Now I do my fasting, but you hear Him better when you meditate. You got a clear mind of fasting. So if you constantly focusing on your pain and suffering, I was working, putting my stuff out, but it's more than what I have to be doing and just doing that. My purpose is big, so I have multiple hats that I'm wearing. So I was supposed to turn things over. I got so lost in my stuff, so I had to really put myself together. And really, our stone is all about God, because this is God's stone. This is God's battle, and we have to turn it over to Him. Don't do like I did. Don't keep focusing on your pain. We have to focus on God, who can lead us to our purpose. Because if we don't, we're going to get lost in the storm. like I did. Get lost in a storm because I'm trying to survive every day. When God see us, you know, still trying to pursue our purpose and still trying to survive a month, the attacks, not stop. Don't take your eye off of God and keep focused on your storm. And when God see you doing that, then He stands still. He told us to stand still, not Him. But He gonna stand still if He just see us constantly just talking and fighting and trying to survive and not focus on Him to get to hear His word. When we get lost in the storm, and we focus so much and try to survive we cannot hear His verse. We cannot hear His verse. So I couldn't hear or see anything among all that pain. In the midst of the pain, I had losses. I had so much was going on in the midst of that storm. So imagine what I was going through. I couldn't hear anything. And they had to tell me, God trying to talk to you, God trying to reach out to you. But I was just so much in the mix of all that pain and suffering I was going through. I had stuff on top of stuff. Well, that's why I say nobody don't know what you're going through. And I made it through. I'm still going through it. But I've been using these tools, and I wrote these tools down for someone else can take hold of it. So we're not going to focus on our pain and suffering or our storm. We're going to turn that over to God. We're going to meditate, fast. Now, I do my fasting. I was doing my meditation, but then I stopped. We have to keep going, not stop. That's the only way we hear the voice from God. So my storm had become to be longer because God see I'm just swinging and I'm just trying to survive and everything else and not doing nothing else that was supposed to have been dealing with my purpose. So fighting to survive instead of turning it over to God. So in all that pain and suffering, we will focus on God. And when we put our focus on Him, you can hear His verse. If not, you will get lost. You will lose yourself in the storm. We will turn it over to God who will lead us to our purpose. Because see, our life, our career, it's all in God's hand. Our plan is not our plan. It's God's plan. So everything is in the palm of God's hand. And when we had to stand still, fighting our way through, He gonna stand still. But we supposed to stand still and let Him fight the battle. I'm still trying to get that. Because a lot of time, I know I'm not by myself. We try to fight it ourselves. If it takes too long, we trying to do it. That's why the whole storm say wait. Remember Psalm 27 say wait on the Lord. It's going to take a whole lot of perseverance, in your storm. That's why He said you got to have a strong faith. So in all that pain and suffering, you will learn and grow in the mix of your storm. I done grown in my storm. I'm not the same person I was when I first found out I was chosen. I was just so hot-headed, running off out of my, they didn't even know what it takes. And so now, I think before I speak a lot of time. And that's what we have to do. We have to think before we speak. And a lot of time, you gonna mature in your stuff. You're gonna grow in your stuff. So you will not be perfect. I was not perfect. I'm just telling y'all the mistakes, the mistake I made, that I'm putting the tools down for someone else to do. Not make the mistake, but let them know what the tools are, how I've been making the Bible, read that word, do that fasting, Even when I got to go to work, I bring my Bible with me. You know, do your fast. And the days that I'm off, I do my meditation. You know, you have to do these things. You know, you may be emotional. A lot of people say, oh, you're not supposed to be emotional. No, that's all part of spiritual divine. You know, it's okay. But guess what? You can't stay in your emotion. You know, it says okay that it's spiritual divine can get emotional, but you cannot stay in your emotion. Your faith may be up and down. I'm telling you, all kind of stuff gonna go on this stuff. I'm just letting you know how I've been making it through. You know, wrote these tools down. You know, your faith gonna be up and down. Your emotion is gonna be up and down. You know, but that's okay. That don't mean you're crazy. They say it's okay. You know, for a divine to have emotion. You know, but we don't need our faith to wait. You know, we don't need our faith to wait. Because see, the three things, we have to trust God. You know, we have to believe in God. And the main thing, God don't like for us to doubt. You know, so the emotional state, you move on. You can't stay in your emotional state too long. You have to move on. So your storm may be long, but be patient. Wait on God. We can't move nowhere anyway, you know, to God. Everything is in His hands. You know, you may deal with spiritual warfare, depending on what kind of storm. See, we all in different storms. Some might have finance storm, some of them might have struggling storms, some of them might have us dealing with spiritual warfare. I'm dealing with spiritual warfare in other stuff, you know, and mine is an ongoing. You know, it's non-stop. You know, and you're gonna be wondering when it's gonna end. When you know you're gonna get happiness again. You know, so a storm may be long, but be patient and wait on God. You may deal with spiritual warfare. The main thing is your mind. That's the main thing the devil wants. The devil wants your mind. You know, so your mind. You know, so the big thing you have to deal with is your mind to win. You know, see me, I didn't even know none about all this spiritual stuff. You know, I didn't even know you have to win. You have to deal with your mind, you know, to win. Keep your mind positive. You know, so that was the hard thing I had to tingle with. You know, my mind. You know, you can't have negative thoughts. You can't have this. You can't have that. And I had to, you have to keep your mind in that divine, spiritual. You know, so God also don't want us to doubt. That's another thing. Oh, I love you. I believe you. I have faith. And God will do something to test you. You know, okay, you say you got what? You know, I'm about to throw this at you. You know, He gonna test your faith in the storm like He did Job. You know, he had so much confidence in Job. And Job did not curse God. And see, God was right there watching over him. You know, testing his faith. And Job passed. You know, so in the mix of your storm, you have to smile, and you have to find happiness somewhere. You know, and see, that was a lot of time. You know, even right now, I have to find my happiness. I have to find some joy. You know, because you can't let the devil see you sweat. You know, you got to still, and you can't be, we are spiritual divine, so we can't have the madness in us. You know, we have to be happy, smiling to keep our vibration up. You know, that's why I say emotion, you can't stay in it, because we are divine. We have vibration and energy and all this kind of stuff that we have to keep up. You know, so you have to smile a lot of time. You know, we have to find our happiness. And I know it's going to be hard, you know, because you're in the hard time. You know, dealing with the hard time. You know, I keep my little music, my gospel, you know, music on. And a lot of time I'm singing and dancing, hurting and depressed and everything, still singing and dancing because you got the fire and your happiness, you know, because we dealing with energy, vibration, and everything else. So we have to find happiness. We have to smile at some time. We have to do these things. Now, Satan will try to keep you down, and Satan will try to keep on throwing stuff at especially when he know you winning. You know, see, I have a big project ahead of me. That's why I'm still in the storm. I'm still trying to tangle everything, trying to keep my mind together. Trying to fast and try. When you fast and you clean your mind. I'm still trying to do all these things. And Satan will, when you are winning, you're gonna have the Satan on your tail. He gonna keep on throwing stuff at you to keep everything at a standstill so you won't move forward. A lot of time you could constantly be moving forward, and what happens? Satan will have you push back, catch you bagging back. You know how Michael Jackson moonwalk back? That's how the devil. But guess what? When you have to put your foot right back in front of the you know, we have to maintain these attacks that the devil constantly keep on throwing at us every time we right there winning. He comes Satan. So but we will never give up. Don't never give up, no matter how the pressure is. Don't never give up. Never give up. Keep pressing your